Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Jazz Transcription Clinic podcast. Today we will discuss how to get the most out of a solo that you have already transcribed. So we will do a bit of analysis of a solo that I have transcribed recently and a few ideas on how to incorporate, how to embed those ideas that you find in the solo that you transcribe into your own playing and improv. So let's get started. The solo will be the Chris Potter solo on All the Things You Are, a solo that have kept me busy for the last month or so, and I have already prepared the platform Soundslice, with a bit of analysis already going on, so I can talk to you about that. Please remember, guys, to subscribe to my channel. It means a lot. It keeps me motivated, and throw a question, throw a comment if you like in the video below. It really helps me to understand what you look into on YouTube and what you want to learn from the transcribing art. So let's get started. The solo is this one, you remember. So the fact that we write it down is really for analysis purposes. So if I just want to learn the solo, I probably don't even write it down. I know that on the podcast, I have to show you something and I have to show how I'm doing it, so I'm going to write it down. But it happened in the past that I transcribed something just because I loved what I was hearing and I wanted to learn it, and I didn't even write it. I just memorize it and then use few of the ideas. But for today's show, I thought it was good to analyze it with you. So first thing that I've noticed is that here, both Chris Potter and Shai Maestro, the pianist, are working on the note concert G. So remember, this is written for B flat instruments and tenor saxophone. So you can tell that what he is thinking here is a sort of melodic pedal with the note A constantly played there. I missed these three A's, but they should be blue as well. So have a listen. So this is a first idea, right? That you can keep a note and then, of course, you adapt the note to the harmony. So the idea is play A, and A, the note A sounds wonderful on all those chords, right? Is the tonic here, is the fifth here, is the fifth here, is the ninth on G minor, is the 13 on C7, and then it's the 3 on F major. It's a major 7. So you keep the same note and the harmony goes underneath and changes the weight of the note itself. So when you play the tonic, like here, there's not much weight. When you play the fifth, of course, it's the same. It's not much tension again, but then you play the ninth, you play the 13th, you play the major 7th here, and you start having, some differences in the relationship between those notes and the harmony. And then, of course, staying on A would have sounded a bit dodgy to resolve on A major on the tonic. So the great Chris Potter goes down to G sharp to resolve on the major 7. Right? And so that could be one of the first ideas that you can practice. Let's see some other ones, and I'll practice after I have analyzed the solo. I will show you how to practice those ideas. So another idea that he's taking here on A major, so we are in the bridge here, is a rhythmic idea and a melodic shape idea. Da da po do do di da. So that's, again, it's wonderful because he's taking a simple idea. It's all diatonic. Remember, diatonic means of the scale, and he's playing the same idea with the same shape, the same rhythm, but starting on a different note. Here he starts on the 6th or the 13th, if you like, and here he starts on the 9th and changing the harmony. So here he introduces the G sharp because the chord we are going towards F sharp major 7, and then the same idea as before, but instead of going to D sharp and C sharp, he goes to E sharp and C sharp and D sharp, sorry, which is the flat 9 of this chord here. So it's like morphing one simple idea according to the harmony. Is that right? Does it make sense? So we can all see that. And let me show you what you can do to practice an idea like that. So first of all, we can, I don't know, we can loop this section and just play over and over to learn that melody. So, like, changing a little bit, right? Just, or changing slightly the rhythm. Yeah, maybe that's not as good as the Chris Potter idea, but this is what you can do. Or you can start even here from the bridge to start with that idea, right? Right? Or again on B minor 7, maybe I start on a D. Right? Makes sense. So I can show you now. So this is iReal Pro, and of course in iReal Pro you can loop a section and play as a loop. So we are going to take that Chris Potter idea and play over the bridge and try to develop some more ideas. I'll show you. So as you can hear, I'm trying to develop those ideas, and I can spend a lot of time doing that. Now I have condensated. I liked some of the ideas. I didn't like some other ideas that I played. And then, you can also do, for example, the whole form, trying to use just that idea. Da, 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 right? That melodic shape and that rhythm. I'll give you an example. So you can hear that what I'm doing here is just developing this simple idea that Chris Potter has put into place, and I can guarantee you guys that if you do that for a couple of days, you take one idea and you play over and over, and even you can try, I don't know, over a blues form, over another chord progression that you know pretty well, and I can guarantee you that after a few months that idea will start coming out, because you need some time to process those ideas, but with practicing, we can do that. So that's great. And let's keep going with the analysis. So here I have highlighted a so-called enclosure. The enclosure is a Bebop tool that you can put in place to make you sounding more Bebop, or a bit more modern, because the enclosure is surrounding a target note with some notes that are not part of the chord or are chromatic to the harmony, etc., etc. So you can have an enclosure of 2 notes, 3 notes, 4 notes, 5 notes, 6, 7 notes. You remember some of the lines that Parker used to play. Etc., etc. So I highlighted the enclosure in red or burgundy, and then in bright green you have the target note that here is actually going towards the C sharp diminished chord, so it's playing And this is a simple idea, guys, that you can, for example, this is a very common 4 notes enclosure, and you can take it and practice over the cycle of fifths, for example, right? So you take that little enclosure with your target, and if you start the cycle, let's say I'm starting on C over the cycle, and then my target note is C, so I will be playing B flat, B natural, D, D flat, and C. And you can go around the cycle, right? Etc., etc. So that could be another way, to incorporate ideas. This is a very famous enclosures. And then what else? Let's keep analyzing. So here there is another idea that he takes after this wonderful phrase. He takes this idea right at the end. So sometimes the ideas are at the beginning of a phrase, or he starts with a new idea, but sometimes he likes to grab just the end of the idea. And as you can see, this is pretty similar, right? Right? So this idea here, and then of course developing the last part, changing the rhythm, and then leaving. But leaving is still sort of ti da do da. You remember ti da do da. Remember this one, right? So again, adapting the harmony, adapting the notes, and you can tell, that this is how he is thinking in this I section. So again, guys, you can loop this right through here and then play. And that, can go on, and then you can open iReal Pro and practice that idea, as I showed you before. And then here there is a little bit of a change, even though everything that Chris Potter plays is like a consequence of what he has just played, or maybe what the piano has played, what's going on around him. And that means one big important thing, guys, that you need to listen. You need to listen to what's going on around you. So here, for example, from C sharp to B, that's a -7 interval. And then guess what? There is a -7 interval here. There is a sixth here, a -6th, and then a -6th here, and a -6th here. You see the shape of those ideas? Do do di, da do di, da do di, da do do da do do di, da do do di do do di. It's like a Baroque composer where the texture and the the ideas are interconnected and are just a consequence of what just happened. And it's fascinating. And I can tell you guys, it's not magic. Even though it seems like magic that he's able to do it in real time, it's not magic. You practice a lot those things. So like even this idea here, And I like the fact that he's taking the same idea, but he's going away in a very smooth way. Hmm? But even this one, guys, is exceptionally good. So you can practice that idea on a Real Pro. Maybe you can try to apply over the bridge section. So it would be something like that. You can try to adapt the same idea on a different section of the piece, or on a different chord progression, or on a cycle, etc., etc. Let's keep going. On the bridge, he does this. And I already told when I transcribed this to you guys that is how quick is they are to interconnect and grab the same idea. Listen. It seems like they are playing some written solos, right? It takes just one bar and the tempo is pretty fast, you know? And it takes just one bar to click in and start working on that and create this beautiful, like, sort of fugue movement. Right? And so those four notes descending, this is what they are working on. And then, you know, reverse, or how do you say, inverted direction, instead of but then it's still there, here, right? So that's how good you can become, you know, if you practice in this way. You take one small idea and you try to get the most out of it. Etc., etc. And you can go on and on and on, you know, but grab those little ideas. Once you identify what the seminal idea is, put it in practice. And then there is another another enclosure here, right? Of four notes, a bit different from the one before, but it's still an enclosure. Listen how logical. Right? I love that line. then you can keep going. Something like that. Or and then, I don't know, maybe on the second A. Or on the bridge, right? B minor. I hope it does make sense to you, right? So again, we can switch to iReal Pro, and I don't know, let's play from top, maybe a little bit slower. We go to 110, and we start from top, and we try to play that. Dot, dee, dot, dat, dot, do, do, do. So that was one chorus using that idea that we just, analyzed here. Do dip do det do 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 do. Do dip do det do 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 do. And you can keep going and play 250 chorus using just that idea. And this is how you embed those ideas into your playing. Again, enclosures. Do ba do do di. So B is the target note on G sharp half diminished, and he turns around. And then same on the C sharp. So literally the notes he's thinking here are D sharp, B, B, G sharp, and C sharp. These are the notes that he's thinking. But the enclosure movement is so embedded in his fingers that he doesn't even have to think at it. And it sounds beautiful. It sounds so bebop, right? That's a beautiful line that probably I would love to, I don't know, play in 12 keys and transpose in 12 keys. It's a 2/5, so it's really important that we learn how to play on 2/5s. I can probably use the Soundslice speed training. So initial speed 70%, final speed 100%, increase speed by 10. Each speed plays, let's say, 2 times OK, and play. That's great. Of course, we should probably practice the whole line, but just this bit is gorgeous, isn't it? I should have colored also this idea here, because you can see that. Right? Right, and you can see that, you know, he sticks to his own ideas, and of course he's able to produce wonderful ideas, but he never leave an idea alone. You know, it's before he moves to the next idea, there is always, you know, some development of the previous idea. Like here, there is an approach note, 2 note enclosure. So these are the notes that he's thinking: A, C, E flat, and G. And with approach notes, or a little enclosure of 2 notes, he makes it sound completely different, because this is an arpeggio, right? 3, 5, flat 7, and 9, and the chord is F7. So 3, 5, flat 7, 9, and it would sound a bit, you know, too simple. But right, so you can really transform by adding little enclosures or approach notes. You can transform a simple idea like an arpeggio into something really good and sounding really great. And you lose the sense of the arpeggio. You lose the sound of the arpeggio. It doesn't sound too simple anymore. So again, you practice those lines, you practice those idea, approach notes. You start with simple ideas on, for example, an arpeggio of 1, 3, 5, and you throw in some approach notes. So the arpeggio would be. And so on, right? I was adding different types of enclosures, different types of notes, and by the end of the process, you're still thinking the simple arpeggio, but what you sound is completely different, and it's much better than a simple arpeggio. And then, you know, there is this new idea using a fake or alternate key for the F on the saxophone. Right, so he's working on this idea, and then look at that. So he's working on this idea of 2 crotchets, and the second one is longer, and then displace those crotchets, which was, and I marked in blue, this is from where he got it. So da ba do ba do do, da ba do ba do ba do ba da ba do ba do, de ba do ba ba. So those two crotchets here, ba ba, are a consequence of these two crotchets. And even though he seems that he abandoned that idea, he didn't. Da 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 do da, di do do da da. And here he goes back to his own idea. And then this is great, on beat 1 and beat 2, and here on beat 3 and beat 4 tied to the beat 1. And then he plays this extremely long and complex line with an enclosure again on the A, and then he plays again. There is an F in between, but the idea is the same. Ba ba, right? Right? And this is what gets me the most, right? The ability of carry on your own ideas. Even after such a complex line, you still try to develop something. So you don't play one thing and then you move on, and a new thing, move on, new thing, move on, new thing. You always need to develop your own ideas, right? And then, to practice those stuff, there is only one way, guys. You need to practice super slow. So, for example, I don't know, let's start at 50%. So you can tell, right? And I can spend a couple of hours just on one line, right? And then you grab the next one and you do the same, right? Don't try to learn it at a super fast speed. It's not going to happen. So we need to start slow. Like, as I said, 50%. And I have to stop here because there is the middle part that I can't play at 90. So I have to go back and focus on the middle part. Right? And you do that, and then you learn it. Now, I don't want to take too much time because here in this part he's shredding, so I will have to practice a lot also this thing here, this monster. The only problem is that it's like quadruple the speed. So you can practice, as I said, at a very slow tempo, and you can develop a pretty good technique. What I'm fascinating on is that he's able to change the notes at that speed according to the harmony. You see that here on G sharp, half diminished, or G sharp minor, he's just introducing A sharp and D sharp to the harmony, right? And before he played A natural because the harmony was A major. And here there is, of course, a C sharp 7, so a lot of C sharp resolving on F sharp major. And he's in total control of everything, right? And then other ideas, a seventh interval going up, a seventh interval going up. That's a wonderful line. Right? And again, you like it, you take it, and you practice. And then there is the minor 7 interval, but descending. So the opposite. Is it? Yeah, probably I would say it is conscious, right? Working on 7th intervals. He loves 7th intervals. So again, you can go back to iReal Pro and you can do one chorus at like let's say 140, and you try to think of the 7th interval to play. I was thinking just the 7 interval, and I started developing some ideas there, right? So, and it's just coming out from an idea that I found in his solo, and it's just wonderful, right? Again, melodic pedal. It's a great tool. You find a good note, you stick to it. And here he's changing the color of his playing. He's going towards a more soul, rhythm and blues playing. There will be also some blue notes starting to kick in. And then he again takes one rhythm. So you can see that he is playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 bars with one single idea. And here he's changing the rhythm, but the shape and the core of the idea is the same. Right? You can see. It's a little variation, but it creates more interest. And then again, a little bit different, but the core of the idea is the same. A sort of arpeggio descending, and then a wide interval. And it goes back to the initial idea. Crotchet, 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 quaver, quaver, tied into a crotchet. And keeps going. Right? And this is so gorgeous. Listen. Right? It's so beautiful because you can literally follow him, right? You can follow him on his playing, and I like it. So it's too good, right? And you practice, you take that idea, da 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 da, da 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 da, and you go back to iReal Pro, and you do it. Let's do it a bit faster this time, and etc., etc. Right? So let me go back to this screen. And again, other ideas, working on two notes, an interval. Right? That's as simple as that. You take two notes and you play. Right? It reminds me of an exercise that sometimes I do to improve my imagination and my ability to create more with less. And so the exercise is that I only use one hand to improvise, and that limits, my options a lot. And like in this case, he goes down to F. Or sometimes the same idea, but I choose a range. Like in this case, the range is from, let's say, from C to F. So you only have those notes, and again, you can open any track that you want, and you simply play it using just that range. Again, you can keep going forever, right? All right, and then a rhythmic idea. Let's keep moving. This is like the same idea, displacing all the accents. Right? Again, there is a melodic pedal here going on. And some more shreds. Right? right? We enter the blues here. Right? And then I love this one. It's a strange rhythm, but it works so well. And he plays the head out. So I hope you guys found this episode really interesting. I have a lot of work to do. I want to practice hard some of those ideas, and hopefully, you will hear me playing some of those ideas processed into my playing, right? And played not anymore consciously attached to this solo, but the work that you do is to embed all those ideas into your playing, and then in a while you will forget the source of the solo. Sometimes, I hear myself playing, I hear a recording of myself playing, and then soon after I put on a record that I love, and all of a sudden I hear, I don't know, Stan Getz or Joe Henderson playing my lines, right? Of course, this is a joke, but this is what happens, that you lose the consciousness of the source. And that's great. That's great. We can do that. We are not stealing. We are not copying. We are just getting inspiration from the greatest. So I hope you enjoy. Please subscribe to my channel and see you next time. Bye bye.